Ugly baby. Ugly baby.
The Tiny Giantess. Charlotte was small for her age, and at 9 years old, there were many third graders in her school who towered over her. It was to be her first summer to attend sleepaway camp, and though there were 2 major camps in her area, Charlotte would most definitely be attending Camp Giantess Rainbow, where the motto was,
Good things come in small packages.
She was simply too short to attend Camp Mohawk, where their camp motto was,
Bigger is better.
Camp Mohawk campers mockingly referred to the Camp Giantess Rainbow campers as runts, shrimps, squirts, peewees, bugs, atoms, munchkins, pocket campers, weaklings, punies, and the littles. In response, the smaller Camp Giantess Rainbow campers did their best to stay the heck away from the Camp Mohawk campers. The camps were located on opposite sides of Lake Fatu. The rivalry that existed between the camps was ancient and unbalanced, like that of chickens and foxes. It began back in 1937, when the McMortensen Epic Hot Dog Company held their first ever inter-camp hot dog eating contest.
All right, campers, it's time to separate the winners from the wieners. When I squeeze this crow, that's your signal to start eating. If you want to be a winner, it's simple. Why, just don't stop eating. If you want to be a wiener, why, that's even easier. Simply don't win. But who wants to be a wiener? Not you, I'm sure. All right, get ready, get set, eat!
Up until the inter-camp hot dog eating contest, both camps coexisted in relatively similar fashions. Any kid would be happy to attend either camp. Before the hot dog eating contest changed everything, the greatest differences between the camps were their mascots. Camp Giantess Rainbow's was a purple striped tiger named Blister, and Camp Mohawk's mascot was a great white shark called Muscles. The hot dog eating contest awarded the winning camp with a summer supply of free McMortensen Epic Dog hot dogs, and that prize incentivized the Mohawk head counselors to be more selective with their enrollment in the years that followed. Their thinking was that the bigger the kids were, the more they could eat. The more they could eat, the more they could win. The more that they won, the greater they would be. Not to mention they'd get to enjoy free McMortensen Epic Dog hot dogs all summer long. It was then that minimum height and weight requirements were imposed for all Mohawk campers. Only the biggest of the big kids were admitted. At Camp Mohawk, bigger was truly better. The campers of Camp Giantess Rainbow still enjoyed the annual hot dog eating contest because who doesn't like eating free hot dogs? But after almost 100 years of competing and thousands of hot dogs having been eaten by kids with sunburns and skin knees, Camp Giantess Rainbow never once even came close to winning.
I like to put mushrooms on my McMortensen Epidog hot dog.
I like to put pineapple on my McMortensen Epidog hot dogs. It's much better than pineapple on pizza.
For years, Charlotte would say goodbye to her friends as they went off to various camps while she was forced to stay home. Charlotte was never allowed to go to camp, but this year she was, and she could hardly wait. Her parents, however, did not share in their daughter's excitement. Leading up to the long drive to Camp Giantess Rainbow, they were a nervous wreck. Charlotte's parents relentlessly paced and worried. Her mom nervously chewed off all of her fingernails, and her dad nervously chewed off all of his toenails. They took turns packing and repacking her bags at least 6 times each, and they made a lengthy list of all the bad things they could think of that might happen to their daughter while away at sleepaway camp.
Let's see, there's bug bites, snake bites, bear bites, deer bites.
Getting a fish hook in the eye.
Getting a fish hook in the other eye.
Getting a fish hook in the mouth, being mistaken for a fish, being gutted, cleaned, and eaten.
Getting hit in the head by a volleyball.
Getting hit in the head by a kickball, a dodgeball, a basketball, baseball, football, soccer ball, ping pong ball.
A disco ball.
A Lucille ball.
What about sunburn, windburn, rope burn, slide burns?
And heartburn.
Plus, there could be quicksand, slow sand, medium pace sand, or just plain old-fashioned sand.
Oh, the chafing.
When she was a little kid, Charlotte was always sick. She got every cold and flu. She'd get ear infections when the wind blew, and stomach bugs mistook her belly for a hive. She'd have unexplainable fevers that would cause her to sweat through her shirts, shorts, and sheets, and for a while it seemed like she was allergic to everything. Everything except for nuts, bee stings, and gluten. As she got older and stronger, her ailments all seemed to pass. But her parents' nerves around her health and well-being only seemed to worsen as time went on. If she was being honest, Charlotte would say that half the reason she wanted to go to camp was to get away from her parents' constant worrying. That they were even letting her attend camp was something of a miracle, and it was largely due to Dr. Marjorie's suggestion during one of their countless family therapy sessions.
A family is like a bunch of grapes. Each grape needs its own sunlight and water to stay plump and juicy. Otherwise, the grapes will start to turn, and you get icky raisins instead of the chance to make yummy wine or even grape-flavored soda. Sometimes, and yes, I'm looking at you, Mom and Dad, parents can be like a giant spaceship blocking the sun and sucking all the water out of their children with their alien spaceship tube thingies. When that happens, a child can wilt and turn all raisiny on the vine. Charlotte, is that how you feel?
Are you asking me if I feel like my parents are spaceships?
No, I'm asking if you ever feel like a raisin, like an icky raisin.
Sometimes my skin gets a little dry.
Oh gosh, I knew it! She's got suggestive rapid decomposing grape disorder and is turning into a raisin right before our very eyes. I'll save you, honey. Quick, drink this water.
My poor baby. That's it. Charlotte's never going outside again.
Okay, spaceships, everyone calm down and go back to your home planets. I was actually going to suggest the opposite.
You mean leave our beautiful daughter outside like some sort of helpless grape on a vine? She'll turn into a raisin. What kind of doctor are you?
A good one. No, we're not going to leave Charlotte outside. I'm a therapist, not a horse trainer. I'm suggesting that maybe Charlotte should go to summer camp this year. I think it might be good for all of you.
Charlotte didn't care much for Dr. Marjorie. She didn't like having to express herself through hand puppets. She didn't need a safe space in which to feel her feelings. Charlotte was fine feeling her feelings wherever she felt her feelings. And she didn't like the aromatherapy candles that stunk up Dr. Marjorie's office. If she wanted vanilla up her nose, she'd stick an ice cream cone up there. But her parents, of course, would never allow such a thing. They were always stressing about her, and she just needed them to relax a little bit and let her be a kid. Though she wasn't a fan of the therapist, she definitely appreciated the nudge that Dr. Marjorie gave her parents that day. When they dropped her off, her mom and dad double and triple checked that Charlotte had all of their contact numbers memorized.
555-676-0931 and 555-676-0932.
That she knew where the nurse's hut was.
Right there.
They questioned whether she knew the protocols for encountering a bear.
Make noise. Make a lot of noise.
For catching on fire.
Stop, drop, and roll.
For avoiding becoming a raisin.
Stay hydrated and watch out for spaceships.
And for if a boy tried to steal a kiss.
Slap him in the face. Can you go now, please?
Eventually, after an extended tear-filled goodbye, her parents finally left. And for the first time in her life, Charlotte was free of their hovering worry.
The life and death of potatoes!
Once there were two potatoes. They were in love until a knife cut them up into tiny pieces.
They were roasted into French fries. 2 fries were bigger than the rest.
The big fries fell in love. And they made baby French fries. The big fries got eaten by George Washington. The baby French fries grew up and were angry at George Washington. One of them accidentally burned themselves on a stove. Another baby French fries pulled him off the stove. That's when George Washington vomited. The baby fries put 1,000 traps around him so he could not go anywhere. In his vomit, the bits of French fry parents hopped over to the babies to say their final goodbyes.
Suddenly, a glue stick appeared and glued the bits of parents together. The parents then glued themselves to the wall.
Then a ghost appeared with a red quilt and a blue outfit on the inside. It came right towards the babies and they screamed. The ghost said, "Hi." And the fries ran away into the forest where a wolf ate them all. And then a toad ate the wolf.
The end.
Well, not quite. We forgot the destructive boy energy.
And then a bomb went off. And then no one saw them ever again.
The first day at Camp Gavis Rainbow was incredible. Charlotte quickly made new friends. She noticed that she was definitely on the short side, but so were all the kids at Camp Gavis Rainbow, which made her feel right at home. Like the other kids, Charlotte spent that first day hiking and canoeing and learning the Camp Gavis Rainbow song.
Yo ho ho, here we go, off to Gavis Rainbow. I'd give a finger, I'd give a toe to go to Gavis Rainbow.
Charlotte also did some arts and crafts. She made a keychain and an ashtray, even though she didn't have any keys, nor did she know anyone who smoked. In the evening, all the campers gathered around the campfire to hear a senior counselor tell the tale of the Creamy Tory. The passing down of this tale was one of the few traditions, other than the hot dog eating contest, that Camp Gavis Rainbow and Camp Mohawk shared. And the campers all shared in their fear of the legendary beast.
Long before any of us were born, long before there was even a Camp Gavis Rainbow, Lake Fatu had the world's largest supply of creamfish.
What's a creamfish?
What's a creamfish? Why, only the world's most delicious fish. They say that when you cook them on the open fire, a creamfish tastes exactly like chocolate ice cream. Imagine, you could have a creamfish for dinner and chocolate ice cream for dessert too. Eating a creamfish was like having dessert for dinner and you still get dessert. Now, back in the day, creamfish were plentiful in Lake Fatu. At sunset, they start jumping, thousands of them, and you could be in your canoe, and the creamfish would just land in your lap. And just like that, you had a yummy dinner, and you didn't even need a fishing pole. People flocked to the lake, and soon, because humans are disgusting pigs with no sense of self-control or care for species outside of themselves, the creamfish were eaten into extinction. Well, almost into extinction. Somewhere out in the deep waters of Lake Fatu, one creamfish remains, the Creamy Tory. They say it's over 10 feet long. It lives and lurks along the very bottom of the lake in the murkiest of water. The Creamy Tory doesn't eat often, but when it does, it eats only one thing.
Burgers?
No.
Corn?
No.
Raisins?
No, that's gross.
Pepperoni pizza?
No.
Thumbtacks?
What? No. Just listen. This is the best part of the story. They say it's over 10 feet long. It lives and lurks along the very bottom of the lake in the murkiest of waters. The Creamy Tory doesn't eat often, but when it does, it eats only one thing. Campers! Now you guys go get some sleep, because tomorrow we're going swimming!
I like to put duck bladder on my McMorrison Epidog hot dogs.
When I first ate a McMorrison Epidog hot dog, I experienced joy for the first time, but I'm still lonely.
Charlotte loved to swim. It was one of the few activities that her mom insisted on her being proficient at that she actually enjoyed. Because her mom worried about her even taking a bath alone, Charlotte had been enrolled in swimming lessons since she was a baby. Charlotte's swim lessons were significantly more fun than her Keeping Car Seats Cool for Kids class, or the weekly informal safety meetings on correct spoon usage, or the How to Sleep Without Being Smothered by Your Pillow seminar that her mom made the family attend in their church's basement.
Hi, I'm Mike Laydown. Like most Americans who hear Chuck Norris speak to them in their sleep, I believe in God and UFOs. I also believe that you should be able to sleep a good night's sleep without being killed by your pillow. That's why I, Mike Laydown, made my signature Smother No Other pillow. Try it! You'll love it or your money back. And don't forget to buy my book, There's Nothing Wrong with My Head, My Pillow is Just Extra Firm, and other bedtime stories.
Years of swimming lessons made Charlotte a strong and confident swimmer. She would have joined the swim team at school, but of course her parents said no. As it was one of her favorite pastimes, she signed up for the solo free swim during all of her choice time at Camp Gavis Rainbow. Knowing her affinity for the water, her dad had packed her brand new goggles, a snorkel and fins, life jacket, and several inflatable arm floaties that only toddlers use. Charlotte tossed the life jacket and the floaties aside and put the rest of the swim gear to good use. Each day, she'd explore a different area of the lake, challenging herself to go farther and farther out. While out on the lake, she'd often encounter campers from Camp Mohawk who'd paddle by in their oversized canoes with their oversized oars and oversized attitudes. Reliably, they'd call out to her and tease her about her size.
Hey guys, is that a baby swimming? She's so tiny.
That's no baby. Babies are bigger than that. It must be an elf or a fairy or something.
No way, guys. We must be hallucinating from our incredible workout. Nothing that small could ever survive out here in the wild. Now let's keep paddling with our huge muscles until our muscles make muscle babies and we have families of muscles on our massive bodies!
The Camp Gavis Rainbow campers were familiar with the taunts of their muscle-bound neighbors on the lake. And like her fellow campers, Charlotte did her best to just ignore them.
The raccoon and the doctor.
So there's this dude. He's a raccoon. His name is Alex, and he goes to the car dealership
and buys a car. The car explodes. Unfortunately, he was next to the car, so he broke his arm. Guess what?
What?
His broken arm cast had a license plate that said raccoon. While he was in the hospital, someone set a bomb on his head. Alex ran away from the hospital because his doctor was an octopus. The doctor's head turned into a blueberry. The rest of his tentacles turned into cheetahs, and he ran after the raccoon. When Alex saw the cheetahs chasing, he turned and jumped on their backs. The raccoon cringed and dug a hole into the doctor's blueberry head. And he found a bunch of eyeballs.
Alex removed the bomb from his head, left it inside the blueberry, and then jumped off the running cheetahs.
And he went to Bob Ross's pawn shop.
Ready to have some fun? Let's do it.
And bought a choo-choo train.
He opened the door in the choo-choo train, and the doctor came out.
That's when Alex picked up a used shower head and sprayed the doctor. The water detonated the bomb, and the doctor exploded.
Towards the end of the summer, on the day before the annual hot dog eating contest, Charlotte was far out in the middle of the lake. It was a still day, and no one else was around. She'd been practicing her diving, seeing how deep she could go on a single breath, and she was getting good at it. Her mom would have never ever allowed this, which is what made it all the more enjoyable. To record her progress, Charlotte used a 40-foot measuring ribbon attached to a small fishing bobbin. She would dive deep as she could go, unraveling the tape as she went and noting the number with each dive. Her record was 32 feet, but Charlotte knew she could go deeper. On this day, Charlotte was feeling particularly strong. She held her breath and dove. The ribbon trailed behind her like the exhaust from a jet. 10, 12, 15, 20, 25 feet. She was moving so fast with such little effort that Charlotte was certain she'd break her record. At 30 feet, she was still feeling strong when she spotted something up ahead. There was a movement in the murky waters below. An ray of sunlight cut through the darkness and reflected off of something. At first, Charlotte thought it might have been a hull of a sunken canoe. But a canoe doesn't move, and a canoe most certainly doesn't have eyes. As she kept diving, and whatever it was kept rising, Charlotte ultimately found herself face to face with the biggest fish she'd ever seen. The creamy Tory had come to feed. As soon as you're of the age to swear, regardless of where you might be, if you spilled a hot drink in your lap, or got kicked by a ninja who was waiting in the shadows, or some other equally potentially painful surprise, you'd probably let out a swear word or two. Charlotte was 9 years old, and though her parents were the nervous type, well, actually, especially because of their nerves, she'd heard every word in the book before she could even speak. When faced with the legendary creature of the lake that was known to feast on children, it should come as no surprise that young, pint-sized Charlotte let out a barrage of swear words suitable for a backroom brawler. Fortunately for our tender ears, because she was underwater, we'll never know what exactly she said. But unfortunately for Charlotte, as the curse words exited her mouth, lake water entered. Charlotte swallowed an absurd amount of the murky water. Whether she was actually in danger or not would be debated around campfires for years to come. But two things were certain. The sight of the creamy Tory forced Charlotte to the surface faster than anyone thought possible. and she'd swallowed more than just the water. By the time she'd come up for air, Charlotte had a concern far more pressing than the legendary and terrifying Creamy Tory. Charlotte had consumed a rare and microscopic freshwater parasite called Halomicvissin. Halomicvissin can lay dormant for hundreds of years, but once consumed, it rapidly kicks into action, causing instant gigantism in its host. Charlotte, who was always the smallest wherever she went, was now over 50 feet tall. Charlotte's hands and feet became 10 times their normal size. Her feet ripped through the hard rubber on her fins, and each foot was about the size of the Creamy Tory. If that fish was going to eat her, it was going to need a much bigger mouth and a huge appetite. When Charlotte's massive head popped up from the water like a new island in the middle of the lake, the other Camp Gavis Rainbow campers panicked.
Ah, a sea monster! Oh, an underwater demon! It's a girl!
Some campers on the archery range aimed their arrows at the giant's eyes, and they would have shot at Charlotte if their counselors hadn't tackled them to the ground. Charlotte's voice had dropped several octaves, and when she spoke, everyone froze.
Hey guys, it's me, Charlotte. I'm not a monster. I'm not gonna hurt you, I swear.
What the heck happened to you?
I have no idea. I was swimming, I saw the crematory, and then I got big.
Really big?
Yeah.
Like really, really big.
I know.
Like the biggest camper I've ever seen ever.
Okay. Can someone bring me something to cover up with? My bathing suit and goggles and fins all ripped off.
Hey guys, check the lost and found and see if anyone left any extra large clothes behind.
Minutes later, her counselors arrived at the beach dragging the long red velvet stage curtains from Camp Gavis Rainbow's theater.
Thank you, it fits perfectly.
You know I'm gonna have to call your parents, right?
No, please don't do that.
Look, the nurses can fix skin knees and broken bones, but not this.
You don't understand. My mom will freak out. They'll take me to 100 doctors, they'll do thousands of tests, and they'll find something wrong with me. They always find something wrong with me. And my dad will freak out too, and he'll just go along with whatever my mom says, and I don't want to leave. I like you so much. Please.
Does it hurt at all?
No, I'm fine. Just bigger, I swear.
I don't know. I'm supposed to call home even if I can't get a bee sting or a bloody nose.
I don't have either of those.
Yeah, but...
Wait, I'm fine, I swear. Actually, I feel great. If you call my parents, they'll come straight away, they'll have a billion questions for you, and they'll most certainly blame you for what has happened to me. And then I'll have to leave early.
Wait, what are they gonna blame me for?
Everything, of course. But if you don't call just yet, I could stay for tomorrow's hot dog eating contest. I could win it for Camp Gavis Rainbow, and for once we could beat those stinking Mohawks. Please don't call my parents. Not till after tomorrow anyway. Please.
You really think you can win?
Definitely.
And you swear you're not hurt at all?
I swear.
Okay, I won't call. Let's go make those Mohawks feel small for once.
Did you know that the best time to eat a McMortensen's Epidog hot dog is at 1 a.m. in the morning?
One thing about McMortensen's Epidog hot dogs is that it gave me polydactyly.
The next day, the day of the hot dog eating contest, the camp buzzed with excitement. It was decided that Camp Gavis Rainbow would surprise the Mohawks by keeping Charlotte hidden behind the recreation hall until just before the competition. Except for a giant s'mores that she enjoyed the night before around the campfire, Charlotte hadn't eaten anything, so that she'd be extra hungry when the time came to eat as many hot dogs as she could. The Mohawks arrived right on time in their huge canoes with their huge muscles and huge disdain for people who were smaller than them. A few of them, of course, made jokes about the small stature of their Camp Gavis Rainbow rivals.
Whoa, did we just land in Oz? There's munchkins everywhere. Which one of you is in the Lollipop Guild? I want some candy with my hot dogs. What's the matter? Can't hear me because your ear holes are too tiny? You wouldn't have that problem if you worked out like a Mohawk. Look at these muscles. Look at them.
The Gavis Rainbow campers simply smiled and showed the Mohawks to the picnic tables where they were to compete. As was tradition, the CEO of the McMortensen Epic Dog Hot Dog Company would announce the start of the hot dog eating contest. This year, Stephanos McMortensen, the great-grandson of the company's founder, was the master of ceremonies.
All right, campers, who's ready to eat? This is the moment we've all been waiting for when we find out who will be this year's McMortensen Epic Hot Dog Company Intercamp Hot Dog Eating Contest Champion! Will it be the teeny tiny campers of Camp Gavis Rainbow, or will it be the undisputed, undefeated, reigning champions, the Mohawks? No one knows, but let's find out. Holy nanny! What in the world is that?
Charlotte emerged from behind the rec hall and took a seat on the ground near the picnic tables. The Mohawks could not believe their eyes.
Shall we begin?
Holy hot dog, you are big. Oh, all right, campers. When I squeeze this crow, you may begin. On your marks, get set, hot dog!
Giantess or no Giantess, the Mohawks weren't going to be outdone by the twerps of Camp Gavis Rainbow. They began to wolf down the tubes of meat while nervously watching the giant girl who was patiently watching them eat. After a minute or so of letting them have their fun, Charlotte reached over the contestants and grabbed one of the many trays that were piled high with hot dogs. In her hands, the large tray looked like a snack cracker, and she tossed the hundreds of hot dogs into her mouth like a handful of raisins. She then grabbed another tray, and another, and another, and another, and another, and another. At this point, Charlotte had already broken all the competition's records, but she was just getting started. When all of the hot dogs on the table were gone, Charlotte spotted the two semi-trucks on the edge of the camp, each with the McMortensen Epic Hot Dog Company logo on them. Charlotte knew that they would be full of hot dogs too. So, still hungry and intent on winning for her camp, the Giantess upended the trailers and dumped hundreds of thousands of hot dogs into her mouth. Charlotte ate enough hot dogs to win the competition. Not just for that year, but for most every year that remained in the century too. Normally, there'd be 3 campers on the raised award ceremony platform, representing first, second, and third place, and they were always Mohawks. This year, Charlotte would claim all 3 prizes for Camp Gavis Rainbow. Placing a single toe on the first place stage, Charlotte bent down to accept the trophies from Stephanos McMortensen. The silver cup rested between her thumb and forefinger like a game piece, and Charlotte stood and raised the cup over her head in triumph. That's when a low rumble emitted from within her. Her fellow campers, who'd grown accustomed to Charlotte's low voice, thought that Charlotte was going to make an acceptance speech.
The plight of the pizza store.
Dun, dun, dun! Do you know what is delicious?
Asked Freddie when he served the pizza.
Candy corn, he said.
Also, fried domesticated wild tree chicken on a stick.
Sure, said Larry as he slapped Freddie on the cheek.
Hey, what was that for? Asked Freddie.
Is it because I didn't give you a pizza-flavored pizza with fried pizzas on top and a pizza cone? No, it's because you served armadillo milk. As they were arguing, a lemur came in through the window and ate the freshly made pizza.
The lemur was mutated and he shot lasers out of its mouth.
The rest of the people in the pizza store screamed. The pizza store screamed too.
The people were especially scared of the lemur because they were actually made of pizza themselves. They were pizza cannibals!
Dun, dun, dun! Larry said,
Dang, we were going to use that lemur for free 2-day shipping.
It was then that the lemur shot a laser through Larry's brain.
Freddie was terrified and ran out of the store.
He ran to the nearest police station and told them what happened.
The police went to the pizza store and the pizza store ate them!
The lemur turned off the TV and said,
Memories.
When Charlotte opened her mouth, instead of words coming out, a horrid mash of chewed hot dogs spewed forth in a raging torrent of processed meat products. Charlotte continued throwing up until the entire contents of her enormous stomach were emptied. The flood of vomit was so great that it washed away picnic tables, a swing set, and all the Mohawks' massive canoes before coalescing in the lake in a vile puddle of puke. If that spectacle weren't enough for the shocked campers, once the barf had been expelled from the Giantess, she began shrinking before their eyes. Not only did she puke up each and every hot dog that she'd eaten, but Charlotte had also removed the hollow McVissin from her body, which now clung to the floating vomit like a stowaway. When she resumed her natural size, the small girl was left wrapped beneath the many layers of the red velvet curtain. Her counselors pulled Charlotte out, and the Mohawks could not believe that they had actually lost to someone so tiny. Meanwhile, the vomit puddle was a giant pinkish raft that was steadily crossing the lake on its natural spring-fed currents. Like shrimpers or oystermen witnessing an oil spill in their waters, all watched wondering how far this devastation would reach. While they looked on, the surface of the lake parted and an unbelievably large fish breached. Its cavernous mouth was open wide and it soared many feet before splashing down in the hot dog muck. The creamy Tory had eaten the hollow McVissin, and the effect took hold instantly. The lake fish, which was already the biggest fish that any of the campers had ever seen, grew bigger than any whale in the ocean, bigger than any plane in the sky. It was bigger than the biggest ideas. The creamy Tory raced underwater for a minute, causing the surface to churn, and then the enormous fish launched itself from the water with a breach so epic that nature photographers around the world cried when they learned later that no one got a picture of it. The fish became a wavering missile that rocketed over the length of the lake and crashed on the opposite shore. The Mohawk campers watched in shock as the gigantic barf-covered fish landed and impaled itself on their camp's enormous flagpole. The skewered creamy Tory's tail flipped and whipped, destroying cabins and canoes and counselors' cars as it tried to wiggle its way back to the water. But it had flown too far and was becoming encumbered and stuck in the wreckage. After about a minute of vigorous flopping and thunderous crashing, the fish lay still in what was Camp Mohawk. It's funny how sadness can shrink even the scariest of beasts, or the biggest of kids. The Mohawks' beloved camp had been destroyed. Some of them cried to themselves quietly, while others wept openly. The smaller kids of Camp Gavis Rainbow were nothing if not big of heart. They welcomed the Mohawks to share the last night of camp with them. And together, they all had a sleepout around the campfire, roasted marshmallows, and shared stories that would become legends about the day the Giantess and the giant fish visited their camps.
I like to put shampoo on my McMorrison's Epi Dog hot dogs.
Funny fact about McMorrison's Epic Dog hot dogs is that they are made from you.
When the campers' parents' cars began arriving for pickup, Charlotte's parents were, of course, first.
My precious baby! Are you okay? Did they feed you well? Was anyone mean to you? Did you have allergies? Were there bees? Lots of bees? Did you get stung? Snakes? Fire? Did you get burned on a marshmallow? Were you cold at night? Did you get scared? Tired? Sick? Lonely? Sad? Did you miss your mommy?
What about your dad? Did you miss me? Were there any bears? Bear traps? Guys named Bear who wanted to steal a kiss? Poison oak? Poison sumac? Poison ivy? Poison cake? Did your pillow try to kill you? I knew we should have packed you one of our Smother No Other pillows.
Hi, I'm Mike Lay Down. I know you love my pillows, but don't forget to buy my new book, From Bedwetter to Wedding Better, How the Right Pillow Can Improve Your Life and Land You a Wife.
Mom, Dad, stop! I'm not a baby. I wasn't sick or scared or hurt. I had the best time. I want to come back next year and every year. Did I miss you? Yes. Do I need you to worry about me all the time? No, it doesn't help. It makes me feel small. You make me feel small. I might be short, but I'm not small.
Oh, I had no idea. I'm so sorry.
We don't want you to feel small. It's the other way around. We want you to feel huge, like a giant.
Trust me, I know what that feels like. I don't want to be a giant. I just want to be myself, and that can't happen if you're always worrying about me.
But you did miss us, right?
Sure I did. You're my parents.
From that day on, though she never got much taller than she was that first summer at Camp Gavis Rainbow, Charlotte seemed much bigger to her parents.